Hey everybody, this is Curtis from PSN Stores, and today we're looking at Toren. We're just going to jump in to a chapter pretty early on. So Toren, you're going to notice pretty early, pretty quick. It's got some strong like eco vibes going on. There's definitely some inspiration going on there. But in this game, there is a tower that you live in. The tower was built, and I guess it's kind of like under this curse where there is an endless sunlight. And there is also this dragon at the top of the tower. The dragon has an ability to turn anything into stone. So you play as this girl who lives in the tower, and kind of through the game, you see her grow up from being just a little baby to an adult. And it is kind of her journey ascending the tower while she hopes to have this tree grow through the center of the tower. And it's kind of her, it's her journey of, along with the tree as she's growing up into an adult, to eventually face off against this dragon. So it's kind of very much like a puzzle, a little bit of action, mostly kind of a puzzle game. I found most of the puzzles to be pretty easy for the most part. Like nothing too challenging. Only just kind of like, or mostly just kind of good to have some stuff there just to, get you doing some things and as you progress. But I was never really stuck on any puzzles, so. But yeah, so as you, nope. All right. This game it's got some like control issues. Like you kind of saw there. There was a point earlier I was playing it, like I was at the top of the steps and I was just stuck, and I was holding in the direction and she was running, but it wasn't happening. So I had to like kind of let go and kind of reconfigure and before I could get going. So there was a couple times where I kind of got stuck, and that's a little annoying, but didn't happen too often. And I really like the art style. I think it's a pretty nice looking game, but again, it's got some technical issues. There's some frame rate gets a little rough in a couple of spots, and the camera can get a little weird in some places. Again, it doesn't happen too often, but it's kind of enough to notice it at least. It's also just like a weird personal thing. Jumping is like weird. I don't know if like floaty is the right word, but like I don't know, there's something strange about it. It doesn't feel right. Not a huge issue. There's not really a reliance on platforming. So it's just strange. But yeah, so this like I said, the puzzles are pretty simple. You get a sword, and so there's not like a lot of combat, but the combat that is there is again, it's just a single button. It's not anything too advanced. It doesn't really need to be. So here's our dragon. As I mentioned, the dragon's able to turn things into stone just kind of by looking at it. So you kind of need to stay behind these pillars. Later on, like towards the end of the game, the sections that are like this where you're interacting with the dragon, I think they're pretty well done. Like there's some pretty interesting stuff that they get into. One that's actually not long after this, there's a part where like the next pillar you need to get behind, like you can't reach in time, so you actually get turned to stone, but you use that stone statue as like a makeshift hiding spot to kind of get to progress. And I thought that was really neat, because it does kind of play in, because this game has a lot of themes of like, going through a cycle and kind of repeating things and stuff. There's kind of like a theme that kind of runs through, and I thought that was an interesting way to kind of play into that, but they don't really do much with it after that. Like that's like the one time that it was really used, and after that it just kind of like, well, that was that. And then we have these dream sequences that are kind of between stages. And in these, kind of the main puzzle, you have these shapes that you have, you just kind of gotta like trace the line with this little sand thing. It's pretty lenient as far as like tracing exactly what you need. There's a part about a little over halfway through where it can be kind of annoying. I won't specify why because I don't want to spoil it, but it can be kind of annoying to kind of get the exact line traced. But other than that, it's usually pretty lenient about that stuff. Again, it's not a hard game. You're not going to be dying a lot. Like it's probably not going to take... It took me about 2 hours to get through. Probably a little under 2 hours. I don't mind that necessarily, but it's the type of game that like you feel like it's really starting to get going, and then it's like, oh, this is it, that's the end. So I could have done with it being a little bit longer. I guess one of my issues is I like the concept of playing as this girl as she's growing up from being a kid to an adult and kind of seeing that growth. But because of how short it is, it doesn't feel like you're never really one specific age for that long. Oh, there we go. Yeah, sometimes if that happens, there's usually like one tiny spot you need to get. But yeah, you're like you go from like kid to young adult to teen, like to kid to teen to young adult to adult like really quick. And I kind of wish they would have maybe spent a little bit more time on each part, or just in general. I feel like they could have used to make it a little bit longer, maybe just to flesh out some things a little bit better. Because I don't know, it didn't feel like 2 hours. It felt like one. Like I sat down to play it, and before I knew it, it was over. So that's a little unfortunate. I mean, the game's $10. It's pretty cheap, and I think, yeah, like if you're interested in it, and if you like eco, especially, this is, I'm not gonna say this is the same quality as that, but it's definitely very much in that same, it's gonna give you that same like vibe, right? And it is pretty neat. This is the first game from this developer, and it's the type of thing where like I'm really curious to see what they do next, because most of the issues I have with this game are really just kind of technical and kind of control wise. So I think I'm really interested just to see where they go from here, because again, there's a lot of really neat kind of concepts here, and plenty of room for improvement. So oh yeah, so like the story is again, it's real. There is like dialogue, like there's like this old guy who is kind of like a statue, but he's kind of guiding you through as you progress. And like you saw there's like some like poems that you'll see written that are pretty abstract as well. Nothing too like on the nose or anything, but it's just kind of enough to kind of guide you. And I thought the final encounter was really well done. So I don't know. Yeah, I'll probably end this video pretty soon, because again, I don't want to show too much. But definitely, yeah, it's it's not as I was really hoping to like it a lot more than I ended up liking it, but It's still not. Oh, well. I've never had that happen. Okay, it's you know, it's not bad. But yeah, you definitely got to look past some of its mostly control issues. We'll finish up this little last section and call it. But again, that is Toren. It is out now on PS4, $10. Yeah, you know, it's not. I don't know. I definitely was hoping it'd be better. I was hoping it'd turn out a little better than this, and I think mainly it's. A lot of it does come down to like the control and kind of technical issues I mentioned like at the beginning of the video. But I will, like, if you do like Eco, if you like these kind of games, I definitely check it out. You know, it's not gonna blow your mind or anything, but I think it's worth at least checking out. And again, it's pretty cheap too. But if you like those kind of games, I think you'll get into this. Just kind of know that it is very short, and there's not much to it, you know, and not necessarily a reason to go back after finishing it. So. But that's gonna do it. That is Toren. Thank you for watching. The review should be up now, so you can go and check that out as well. But that's gonna do it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.